Lucky traveler. Once in Arabia, there lived a very rich merchant. His name was Qasim. His enormously large bungalow stood high in the town, challenging all the other buildings in the surroundings in magnificence. There were a lot of servants and other workers in his house and in its premises. Qasim enjoyed a life of richness and sumptuousness. His only relative in that bungalow was his young daughter. Her mother had died when she was a little girl. Although very rich, Qasim was a devotee of Lord Allah. All days he prayed to him to give him peace of mind, to save him from dangers. He believed that everything had even conferred on him by Allah. Qasim liked his daughter very much. Her little mischiefs and coquetries made him rejoice greatly. Her proximity gave him consolation from all tense thoughts and pains. Qasim was used to go abroad once or twice a year with a view to trading. Most of the time, his journeys were through vast deserts. In such times, he loaded all his bales on camel's back and tied it over the sands. For often, the journeys were dangerous. Sometimes, lives had also been lost in the extreme heat and the sandstorms of the deserts. One day, as usual, Qasim set out for a long journey, crossing over a vast desert. He had loaded all his bales on camel's back. There were 50 camels and men with him. In the beginning, the journey was very pleasant, for the climate was calm and quiet. The journey had to have 15 days to be completed. When 5 days were over, the calmness of the atmosphere gradually changed, and it started blowing heavy winds. Therewith also did strong sandstorms. Qasim and his companions got down from their camel's back and hid themselves in places wherever they found safer. Qasim lay down on one side of his camel, keeping his eyes shut with his hands. When the storm came to a stop, Qasim opened his eyes and was surprised to see that all, except some bales, had gone away with the strong wind. He remembered that he had been saved by Allah. Qasim thought of going back home. He walked and walked back. The scorching heat of the sand made him weak. He had already lost all the foodstuffs, but he had kept a small bottle of water in his pocket. He was sure that he would die due to the lack of food. Without using the water in the bottle, he overcame a day. The next day, he fell on the ground because of extreme hunger. Qasim groped in the pocket of his coat for something edible to get. Surprisingly, he knew that there had been kept a piece of cake. He remembered that at the time of his departure from home, a piece of cake had slipped out of his daughter's hand. By chance, it fell into his pocket. But only now could he remember of it. Even when it happened, He was unaware of its presence in his pocket. He had thought that it fell somewhere on the floor. Kasim took out the cake from his pocket and soaking it with the water from the bottle, he ate it, and so could he keep alive again. He was sure that it would help him to walk for 3 more days. While walking, he thanked God and his daughter.